Thank you so much for having me, it's an honor. But I'm gonna have to stop smiling now because it's gonna be pretty serious stuff. How many people die on Polish roads every year in car accidents? Yes?
4,000?
Well, I made a research and it's a little bit less. So, who else?
200.
200? No.
3,000.
Yes, exactly. 3,000. 3,000 people die in car accidents on Polish roads every year. How many people die in Poland every year because of the poor air quality? Anyone? Not you. Someone else? Yes.
40,000.
I would say double, 80,000.
Fortunately, not that much. Okay.
50,000.
Exactly. 50,000 people die in Poland every year because of poor air quality. One might ask if it's a lot. Well, 50,000 people is a small town, right? So imagine a small town vanishing from a map of Poland every year because of the air pollution. Are you guys worried?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last question. Do you guys smoke cigarettes? I hope not, because we all know how bad smoking is for your health, right? I don't have to convince anyone that smoking is bad for your health. We all know, and if we don't know, we can see those traumatic pictures on cigarette boxes showing lung cancer, trachea cancer, and so much other cancers you can get by smoking, right? So we all know smoking is bad, but I have bad news. Even if you don't smoke, only by living in Krakow and breathing its air, you inhale 4,500 cigarettes a year, passively. Without even touching one single cigarette, you inhale 4,500 cigarettes a year. This sucks, right? And so does my 3-year-old, who's over there. So does my 9-year-old, and so does my best friend's 6 months old. We all inhale those substances from the air, from the smoke. So let me tell you a story. My hometown, Zakopane. Majestic Tatra Mountains, amazing nature, unique culture and history, great, tough, honest people. Quaint, right? Paradise, something amazing. But this quaint is smothered by smog for 6 months a year, because winter lasts for 6 months in the mountains. So for 6 cold months, we have a problem with the air quality. But not only us, whole Poland has the same problem. I don't know whether you're aware of the fact that Poland has the worst air quality in the European Union. And Lesser Poland, which is our region, has the worst air quality in Poland. So we're not the lucky ones living here. So, my hometown, Zakopane, 3 years ago, January, the air quality was so bad, I was forced to stay at home with my children for 10 days straight. 10 days at home with my kids. I didn't get out because I didn't want them to get sick. I care for them, right? So we stayed at home for 10 days. Imagine me after those 10 days. I looked like a zombie, but that didn't matter. I was so mad and so angry and so frustrated. I knew it was bad. I didn't want it to be like that. It was just, it was violating my human rights. I couldn't get out with my kids because the air quality was so bad. So I decided to do something. Sorry. And so as I looked through the window, I was so pissed off at this situation. And I wanted smog to be gone. I wanted clean air to happen right now. I wanted clean air now, right now, happening to me and to my family. I wanted it so badly, but as you can imagine, nothing happened, right? So only by wanting change, you are not making one. You have to do something. You have to take some steps towards that change. So I took some steps and I joined a group of people who were already taking care of the problem, and we are called Podhalański Alarm Smogowy, which stands for Podhale Smog Alert, and we are a part of a bigger group called Polish Smog Alert. And those guys are amazing. They're dedicated, devoted, passionate about combating smog in Poland. And I want to show you some pictures of the actions we have already achieved. Oh no, okay, this should be the last picture. But this is a picture from a workshop. I've done hundreds of hours of workshops and tutorials in primary and high schools, teaching children and adults as well about how bad smoke is for your health and what to do to make it go away. And this is also a picture from that kind of a workshop. And we organize meetings with local authorities and local leaders, basically dozens of those. No? No. Okay, we do a lot of things. We speak up whenever we have a chance to, because we want to raise our voice and we want people to hear us and to think that that this problem is important as well to them. And this picture should be the last one, because all those actions are widely covered by media, local, but not only local. This picture is taken from the New York Times. You might have heard of this newspaper. Oh, it vanished, but okay. So you see, all those actions I have been taking for those three years led me to be featured in one of the biggest newspapers in the world. And let me tell you another story. Once, a class of Embassy International School in Krakow, you might have heard of them once, they were having a geography lesson and they were learning about climate change. And they were reading an article in the New York Times about smog in Poland. So they came across a picture of me, and this is this picture, which is vanishing all the time, but doesn't matter. And they contacted me, and here I stand before you. And honestly, guys, this is huge. I have never expected anything that big happening to me. I'm a mom of two, I'm a physical therapist, I'm a former athlete, but I didn't feel exceptional, and now I do. I get a chance to talk to you, to spread my word, to tell you what is important to me, and really, honestly, never have I ever thought that this will get that big. And probably the journey is not over yet. So it just shows how small steps can lead you to great actions, right? If you start doing something, expect an avalanche of things happening, right? So, yeah. Can we turn it off or no? Yeah. So I want to tell you that I was very close to quitting. Once or twice or 20 times. I was close to quitting because I felt hopeless. I felt that it's only me, I'm one person, what can I do? How can I change that huge problem? And I thought maybe I'll just leave it alone, maybe I'll just go someplace else where there's clean air, and I thought, since I have a family in Sweden, maybe I'll move to Sweden. There's no smog whatsoever, people live close to nature, and Swedish guys are handsome. So I thought Sweden, but then I thought, well, if I go, the problem stays the same, nothing will change, and I didn't want that. I love my town and my country, and I wanted to stay here. So I channeled my energy and my frustration and my anger into actions. And it was not always running smoothly. Sometimes we had to steer around icebergs. Sometimes we had to dry our tears out. I was once called an eco-terrorist by someone from City Hall because they didn't like what I was saying. 3 years ago, the mayor of Zakopane said there's no problem in the town, that it was imaginary, right? I had to convince him that there is a problem. And now, Zakopane is running 3 major projects aiming towards clean air in 3 years' time. And we are becoming a leader in that combat in Poland. So you see, those actions I showed you, I could go on for hours if I had more pictures, but those actions actually lead to something. There is a real visible change. It's worth it. And I wish you all find something that really matters to you, that you really care about, that find your true calling. And if you do, if you're motivated, if your inner self tells you that there's something in the world that needs to be changed, that if you want to challenge status quo, if you don't agree with something, if you think it should be handled differently, or if you just want to F the system, well then, do it. Do it really seriously. Start doing something, because as I said before, only by wanting change, you're not creating one, right? You have to do something, make some actions. And I don't know whether you're familiar with what's happening in Polish politics, but some time ago, a prime minister said that fighting smog is the most important thing in Polish government. And 3 years ago, if someone told me that the prime minister would say so, I would laugh, because they were neglecting the problem. And now they're saying it's a top priority on the top priority list. So, as you see, those actions lead to actually something, to a change. And I'm so proud of what we have achieved so far as a Polish smog alert. I'm super proud. And even though I know there's still a lot to do, but it's huge. And I'm so glad people are listening to me. But honestly, I'm not the story. It's thanks to those who change their minds. It's thanks to those who follow us. It's thanks to those who switch from coal into, for example, renewable energy sources or whatever. If they stop burning garbage, if they stop buying some old diesel cars. It's thanks to those people who change the way they think, a change is possible. And if I could give you an advice, remember that small steps may lead to great actions, and most importantly, you are capable of creating reality. So go out and do it. Now, thank you so much. Peace.